I'm 82 now, and if I could go back in time, there's one decision I'd never make again: moving into a nursing home. They told me I'd be safer, more comfortable, even happier. But what I found behind those walls wasn't peace. It was something far more difficult to live with: the slow erosion of who I was. So if you're thinking about this for yourself or someone you love, I urge you, listen closely. My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 82, and for the past 2 years I've lived in a nursing facility outside Columbus, Ohio. It wasn't supposed to be forever. I told my daughter, just a few months to recover. She nodded. I moved in. I never left. At first, it all seemed reasonable. The room was clean, the staff was kind, and meals were served right on time. But what no one told me was that moving in would mean moving away from life itself. You see, when I was home, I had my routine. I made my eggs the way I liked them. I watered my porch plants. I sat in my own chair, not one bolted to the floor. Here, I eat when they tell me, nap when the lights go off, and get help for the most personal things a man should do alone. No one warned me that signing those admission papers meant signing over the last bit of control I had. What I learned, too late, is this: it's not just where you live that matters. It's how you're allowed to live once you're there. It hit me on a Tuesday morning. I woke up at 6:30, like I always did, and reached for my slippers, except they weren't there. Someone had organized my room overnight. My books were stacked neatly. My things were placed in labeled bins. That was the moment I realized nothing here belongs to me, not even my habits. Before the home, I decided when to open a window, when to play music, when to walk. Now, there's a fall risk sign taped to my door, and walking requires an escort if someone's available. I've waited 45 minutes just to be wheeled to the patio. I used to go there myself. They say it's for safety. But here's the truth: no one tells you. The more people do for you, the less you're allowed to do for yourself. At first, it feels like help. Then it feels like a cage. I lost my freedom by degrees, not all at once. First, they helped me bathe. Then they started picking out my clothes. Then, one day, someone else cut my food, and I didn't even argue. If you value your independence, your dignity, know this: once you give it up, getting it back is a battle you may never win. At first, I believed them. My daughter, Emily, promised she'd visit every Sunday. My son, Marcus, said he'd bring the grandkids by twice a month. They even brought me a calendar so I could mark the days. For the first few weeks, they came. We'd sit outside, talk about the news, laugh about old times. It felt like I was still part of their lives. But then the calls started replacing the visits. "Dad, we're just so busy this weekend." "Next Sunday, okay?" Next Sunday never came. The days blurred. I'd sit by the window watching the parking lot, hoping the next car was theirs. It never was. Here's the truth: when you move into a nursing home, you move out of your family's rhythm. You're not part of the weekday errands, the after-school pickups, the spontaneous dinners. You're an appointment now, and when life gets hectic, appointments get canceled. It's not always malicious. People mean well. But when you're out of sight, you slowly slip out of mind. I stopped calling because I didn't want to sound needy. I told myself I understood. But deep down, I felt like a piece of furniture left behind in an old house, still there, just no longer useful. If you're thinking about this move, ask yourself honestly, can you handle being forgotten, even by the people who love you most? Because no one warns you how lonely it feels to become a memory in someone else's life. Before I moved into the nursing home, I had things to do. I'd wake up early, feed the birds, sweep the porch, and make myself breakfast. I still fixed leaky faucets, organized the garage, even trimmed the hedges when my knees would let me. These little routines weren't just chores, they were what gave my days meaning. But once I moved in, everything stopped. No porch to sweep, no tools to fix anything, no plants to water, no one asking for help. At first, I thought it would be relaxing, like a long vacation. But retirement from purpose isn't rest, it's rust. I started sleeping in, sitting more, speaking less. When you're not needed anymore, you start feeling invisible, even to yourself. I remember meeting a man here named George. He used to be a mechanic, built his own motorcycles. Now he just stares at the TV with his hands folded in his lap. One day he said to me, "Funny, I used to fix engines. Now I can't even open a jar." That's what loss of purpose does. It shrinks you. If you're considering this life, ask yourself, what will you wake up for? Because rest without reason quickly turns into regret. I walked into the nursing home on my own 2 feet. I wasn't running laps, sure, but I was still strong enough to cook, clean, and walk to the corner store when I wanted something sweet. My doctor said I was doing well for my age. I believed him. But within months of moving in, something changed. Here, everything is done for you, not with you. Meals are served, showers are assisted, rides are arranged. And slowly, I stopped moving. At first, it felt like comfort, but comfort can be a slow thief. My legs grew stiff, my balance got worse. Tasks I once handled with ease, standing up from a chair, reaching for a shelf, tying my shoes, started to feel like challenges. And I wasn't the only one. I watched a neighbor of mine, Helen, arrive walking proudly with a cane. She swore she'd stay active, but little by little her walks became wheelchair rides. Her voice got quieter, her hands shook more. One day she told me, "I feel like I aged 10 years in 10 weeks." That hit me. You think you're just resting, but your muscles don't rest. They disappear when you stop using them. If I had known this decline would come so quickly, I would have done everything I could to stay in motion, to fight back against the very ease that felt so tempting. So ask yourself, will you keep walking when there's nowhere to walk to? Because if you don't use your body, you start to lose it, faster than you ever thought possible. This one's hard to talk about, because it's not just about walls or doors, it's about dignity. At home, I had my own bathroom, my own chair, my own space to be still, to think, to be human without eyes on me. But in the nursing home, privacy is something you trade for care, whether you realize it or not. From the day I moved in, I was never alone. Staff walk in without knocking, lights are checked, medications delivered. Sometimes it feels like I'm on a schedule that isn't mine, with people deciding when I sleep, eat, even shower. And showering, that's the toughest. I never thought I'd have to ask someone to help me wash my back. But here, if you can't do it yourself, someone does it for you. You learn to smile, say thank you, pretend you're okay with it. But inside, something small breaks. I also didn't choose my roommate. He was kind, yes, but he snored loudly, talked to himself at night, and liked his TV volume just a bit too high. I missed silence. I missed solitude. I missed being able to close a door and know I'd be undisturbed. Even meals weren't mine to choose. One day, I asked if I could skip the mashed potatoes. The answer was a soft no. It's part of the meal plan. I remember thinking, so am I on a plan now too. The longer I stayed, the more I noticed this quiet erosion, not just of privacy, but of identity. You go from being Mr. Harris, a father, a teacher, a man, to room 218B, a chart, a schedule. So before you sign those papers, ask yourself honestly, can you give up being you on your terms? Because once privacy is gone, you don't just miss it, you mourn it. When I first moved into the nursing home, I told myself it wasn't forever. Just a trial run, I said. If I don't like it, I'll go back home. But what I didn't understand, what nobody warned me about, is how hard it would be to get out once I got in. At first, my house still stood, empty, but mine. I thought I'd be back by spring, but by the time spring rolled around, my son had already started donating some of my furniture. My daughter said, "We figured you wouldn't need it anymore." I hadn't even unpacked all my boxes here, and already my old life was being dismantled. I said I wanted to go home. Their voices got quiet. "Dad, are you sure you could manage everything on your own now?" And that's when it hit me. I couldn't. Not after months of having everything done for me. My legs weren't as steady. I'd lost the confidence I used to feel walking into my own kitchen. The stairs I used to climb without thinking now looked like cliffs. And it wasn't just my body, it was the system, the paperwork, the logistics, the cost. You see, nursing homes don't have a smooth off-ramp. Once you're in, there's no easy exit. Medicare gets involved, so does insurance. Your house may be gone, your savings shifted, your independence already spent. I met a woman down the hall, Lorraine. She used to live 2 blocks from her church, baked for every event. Moved in here just for the winter, she said. That was 6 years ago. "Every time I think about leaving," she told me once, "I realize there's nowhere left to go." If I had known what I know now, how the doors open wide when you enter, but narrow behind you as you stay, I would have thought harder, fought harder, planned better. So before you say, "It's just temporary," ask yourself, are you sure you can come back? Because the world you left behind may not be waiting. At 82, I've lived through war, raised children, buried friends, and seen the world change in ways I never imagined. But the hardest thing I've had to come to terms with was this chair I'm sitting in now. Not because of the cushion, not because of the room, but because it's not mine. You see, moving into a nursing home doesn't just change your address, it rewrites your life. Quietly, slowly, one permission slip at a time. I thought I was making a practical decision. I thought it would be safer, simpler, easier for my family. And maybe, in some ways, it was. But nobody told me what I was trading away. My freedom, my routines, my voice, and how each day begins and ends. If I could go back, I wouldn't make the same choice so quickly. I would have fought harder to stay in my own home. I would have asked my kids to look into home care or see if a neighbor could check on me. I would have rearranged my bedroom, installed a rail in the bathroom, and made it work. Because no matter how kind the staff are, no matter how clean the facility is, a nursing home is not your home. And once you hand over your independence piece by piece, getting it back is harder than you'll ever expect. This isn't about scaring you, it's about informing you. So if you're still in a place where you can choose, if your body still moves, your mind is still sharp, and your spirit still wants to live life on your terms, then choose wisely. Don't give up your life before you truly have to. And if you're watching this for a parent or loved one, take it from someone who's on the inside. Help them stay free for as long as they can, because the day you walk into a nursing home may not feel like a goodbye. But looking back, it was.